Today, we have the 2026 Mercedes-AMG CLA 45S four-door coupe. This is one of the most exciting entry-level AMGs you can buy today. In this video, we'll go on a brief tour of the exterior, the interior, and go on a test drive. Total retail price on this CLA 45S is $77,000. This CLA 45S is finished in the manufactured Arabian grey on the exterior, which is an excellent color choice, especially in the evening sun out here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, one of the things you notice once you approach the CLA 45S are these power domes on the hood. We also have the asphalt back badge, which sits flush on it. Very stylish, very elegant. And this is actually the shark design. Lower section, we have very aggressive air intakes, extremely large air intakes. And for 2026, this is actually a new redesign. They look more pronounced, more prominent. It has this two-stage separation. We have the black elements down here. You can also see the intercoolers inside the engine. The Mercedes star sits front and center. Also, we have a front-facing camera up here. The panoramic grille, very prominent on this car with the vertical slats finished in this gunmetal gray. We do have an AMG badge right here and also a number of sensors for the driver assistance packages. The other amazing feature on this car is that we have these multi-beam LED lights with a single eyebrow. I think they look very good. And to finish off that look, we have a ton of high gloss black elements on the front design of this CLA 45. Now, this car is a pinnacle trim, which means we do have a head-up display system. There is a groove inside here on the upper dash. Lets you know that the car does have a head-up display system. In addition, we have the radar systems which sit on the windshield right here, which work together with the active distance distonic systems, which sit on the Mercedes star, which means we have driver assistance packages, active following distances, and lane keeping assist, and things like that. Now, under the hood is a handcrafted AMG 2-liter inline-4 turbo engine producing a staggering 416 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Now, this CLA 45S has the 8-speed automatic transmission as well as 4-matic all-wheel drive. Fuel economy is a modest 23 mpg, so it's a fantastic car. Yes, and it's a 4-cylinder engine, which is actually the most powerful 4-cylinder engine in production. And definitely hand-built, straight from Mercedes-AMG Germany. And the engine sits in this longitudinal fashion. And you can actually see the turbos back here and carbon fiber trim on the engine cover itself. And yep, 0 to 60 time in this car is about 3.5 seconds. Amazing car. On the side perspective, you can see how the panoramic glass sits on top of the car. This car has 19-inch rims. The size of the front tires is 255/35 R19, sitting on this amazing looking black AMG rims with the red brake calipers. These are actually the performance brakes. In addition, we have the front rotors are perforated, turbo 4-matic plus badging on the side here. Side mirror housings are finished in black. And also notice the black elements all across the window surrounds, because this car does have the AMG Night package. Not just any other AMG Night package. This one has the AMG Night Package Plus, which is why the turbo badging has a black tint on it. Amazing looking car. Stepping to the side, continuing on, we have chrome door handles right here. And of course, this car does have frameless doors. You can actually see the window is exposed. And the rear tires, 255/35 R19. How about the rear design, guys? On a scale of 1 to 10, rate this rear design on this CLA 45S. You can see the branding is right here, CLA 45S. Finish in the Night package accents. This is the AMG Night Package Plus. The Mercedes star is also not in chrome, is also the dark tint as well. And the AMG badging right here. A very simple rear spoiler finish in black as well, just to match the side of the windows here. And coming on the lower section, we have a performance exhaust system with the quad exhaust tailpipes, which also have the AMG brand as well. We have bumperettes to protect your license plate. I know some of you guys do not like the bumperettes, but I think they look pretty good. And good looking and somewhat aggressive rear diffuser right here, finishing the night black accents. Of course, we do have LED taillights, which look absolutely amazing. The Mercedes star also happens to be a trunk opener. Inside here is a modest 17 cubic feet of storage. And there is no tailgate, electronic tailgate right here. You just hold this piece and you close the trunk. And this car does have some floor mats inside here. These are AMG as well. And there is also a first aid kit in your CLA 45S. All right, let's jump inside and see what else we have in this amazing looking car. Now, interior design on the CLA 45S is pretty standard. Let me just squeeze right here. Just remember the driver's seat is pushed all the way back, but I believe you should have about 1 or 2 inches of leg room. Headroom is not too bad, about 1 inch. And material build quality is pretty good. This leather is amazing. This is MB Tex with the red contour stitching, and Alcantara design as well for pattern matching. And seats are pretty decent. There is one USB-C port down here, and air vents, side mounting for storage, and love the gap inside here to see the front. And reading light accessories. There is a coat hanger up here, and we do have black seat belts, but then at the center for the passenger, and then on either side we have red seat belts. So overall, good build quality, tumble space, and firm seats on this CLA 45. Now, the front design of the CLA 45S, this is the driver's dream. We have everything is within reach. The build quality is pretty decent. I love the steering wheel with the perforations on the leather. We have drive units, gives the car some power. So these drive units allow you to change the dynamic select options, which is a plus in my book. And this car also has the race mode, which means you can have drift. The reason you have the 4MATIC Plus badging on the side is on the race mode, this car can send all the power to the rear wheel. So you have full rear torque, lets you have some fun. Flat bottom design on the steering wheel. The one thing for 2026, the trackpad down here is gone. It's just have this storage. We do have a dynamic button right here. You can switch between the race mode, Sport Plus, Sport, Comfort, Individual mode, and Slippery. I'm going to leave the car in the Sport Plus mode. 2 cup holders, NFC wireless charging, very good looking air vents with the 64 colors ambient lights, which is another amazing feature. I did mention that this is a pinnacle trim CLA 45S. There is a groove on the upper dash for your head-up display system. Overall, amazing looking car. I'm just going to close the sunroof. And seats are pretty comfortable. There is more storage inside here, as well as 2 additional USB-C ports. All right, let's go on a drive. All right, interior look, very amazing car. All right, here we go. Interior cabin, driver's perspective. Love how this car feels. Check out the drive units, the animation once it comes online. Amazing. I'll set it to the Sport Plus mode, give it some power. It does take some getting used to. I know you guys are going to have a ton of things to say about this 2-liter inline-4 turbo engine, 4-cylinder, right? But believe me guys, 416 horsepower is pretty decent in this car. So in the Sport Plus mode, I can feel the car's suspension tightening. Feels good. Very tough suspension in the Sport Plus mode. And the steering wheel also feels very nice. I like the thickness of the steering wheel. Very solid car. Turning radius is not so bad. Naturally, this car does not have the rear axle steering, so it doesn't have good enough tight turning radius, so it's just basic. And another amazing feature is that we do have MBUX infotainment system. This is the 3rd generation MBUX infotainment system, and I'm gonna try and these guys are blocking the street, and I don't know why they're doing that. It's annoying. So takeoff is pretty nice. I think there's a good balance between the power, the torque, the suspension, and how the car feels. Naturally, this is the entry-level Mercedes-AMG, right? So we do have a CLA 35. This is a CLA 45S. So this car previously was in Europe, but now it just came to North America about a year ago. 416 horsepower is pretty nice. 369 pound-feet of torque. The gear shifts are seamless. We do have paddle shifters, which are just switched to. Downshift is pretty nice, very smooth, absolutely smooth. And once you come to a stop, it does change to dynamic. So if you need to use your downshifts and your upshifts, the paddle shifters, they're here, right? Good enough surface area on both. Cruise control options will be found on the left, right here. On the right, we have multimedia options. As I mentioned, this is the 3rd generation MBUX infotainment system. We do have a navigation system here. If I said the nav system, it doesn't have augmented reality. That's the only negative, right? But overall, this is pretty nice. And other options, we have comfort menu right here, which means seat kinetics. So for the driver, another awesome feature, we do have performance, engine, torque and power, also the vehicle options. You have a nice looking clock system right here, and this car also has a truck pace, and you can see it right here. And we do have a parking system, so I'm going to switch to the park assist, and hopefully it's going to find this parking. It's not going to find it. It does take some getting used to. Oh, it did. That's a different type of parking. I'm not going to park there. I'm going to park behind me. So I'm just going to park back here. So a 360-degree camera system in your CLA 45. So that's a plus, courtesy of the driver assistance package. I think overall, if you're trying to get into the Mercedes-AMG family, this is a good car to get. So 77K, which means it's about $1,200, if I'm not wrong, maybe $1,400, depending on your financing. And that's pretty much it. CLA 45S, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate this car at a 7. It drives. The suspension could use some work in terms of how soft it is, right? But I kind of feel a lot of road noise in a sense. The insulation, not so good. But overall, I think it's just a solid 7. If you're trying to get into a performance Mercedes-AMG, this is the one to get. I think the other the other negative is the engine size. It's a 4-cylinder engine. So I think most people have complained that, hey, a 3-liter inline 6 would have been better on this car. But if you want a 6-cylinder car, you get a CLA 53. But this is what we have. 2026 AMG CLA 45S. Until next time, subscribe to this channel for weekly videos. Stay positive, everyone. Have a great weekend. Peace.